This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
Hey everybody, welcome to Top Shop Podcast. I met Stephen Fafel at the Vision Conference in March in Kansas City. I had just produced a workshop on how to get websites to convert at a maximum level. So we took all the latest research, phone number upper right-hand corner, reviews the second the web page loads, people see that social proofs, and I put it into one really condensed workshop. And then the very next month I met Stephen, and then he showed me AutoOps. So I don't know if you haven't heard of AutoOps. It is the ultimate in auto repair shop scheduling. I'm faced with this all the time, and I even see other digital marketing agencies advertise, we're a one size fits all. We'll take care of everything. Well, my dad said it best, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
Okay? So just to create a website, it takes 4 separate teams. It takes an SEO team to do all the keyword researching and find out how many times you're supposed to use these keywords. It takes a writing team. It takes a front-end design team, and it takes a back-end developer. And none of them knows how to do each other's job. They're specialists in doing just that. And then that's where you get the best results from. And you guys, auto repair shop owners, you know I'm preaching to the choir here. You have specific people that do tire changes. You have specific people that do alignments because they're really, really good at that. They specialize in doing that. So Stephen showed me, he was referred to me when he showed me the AutoOps scheduling system. I knew hands down that from here on out, we're going to recommend this to every single client that we have because they were the only ones to actually get this scheduling integrated with Google. But, with no further ado, let me shut up and let Stephen start doing the talking. So, Stephen, tell me a little bit about AutoOps, how the idea came about. This is a family business, really, pretty much, right? Which I love family businesses. Right? So tell us a little bit about AutoOps.
Yeah, well, and thanks for having me on, Paul. Excited to be on here. It's great meeting you at Vision. A little bit about AutoOps. Like you said, we're the only company still that focuses specifically on online scheduling for auto shops. We understand, working with just auto shops, we understand what shops need. We understand all of the scheduling intricacies that matters to a shop. Hey, I only have this many technicians, or hey, I can only do these types of service, or if people are dropping off. So there's a ton of nitty gritty we can get into, but then being a company that just focuses on the scheduling point, saying, hey, you're doing this marketing with great companies such as Advanced Digital as a conversion point, as a CTA on a website. The way AutoOps does scheduling, gets people in the door very well. I started this with my brother back in August 2022 after seeing what my father and another one of our partners, there's 4 co-founders of AutoOps, after seeing what they did in the home services space at a company, we saw that automotive shops were it's one of the last industries in the world to really come over to the modern type of scheduling that almost every other industry implements. When you're at a dentist appointment, hey, you schedule the appointment online. When you're leaving, they're like, hey, let's schedule your next appointment. They've been into online scheduling. Restaurants have been doing online scheduling for years now. I mean, it's hard to think back to a world if you wanted to book a flight where you would call up a travel advisor, book a flight. I mean, that's the thing of the past. And what we're really providing to auto shops now is that functionality. And like you said, in the same way, restaurants for years have had, I think probably 2 or 3 years ago, Reserve with Google implemented the abilities for restaurants to have customers book directly through Google Search and Google Maps. When I reached out to Google back in April, they said they hadn't really seen other companies trying live scheduling for automotive other than AutoOps. And so we were one of the first companies to integrate with them in a live sense where we were doing live scheduling that integrated with the shop management system. So started building with my brother back in August 2022. Other co-founders joined on. And in April 2023 was really where we launched in our first shop. We've expanded into over 1,000 shops since then, recently, which is exciting. And staying focused on this one part. Like you were saying, I think your dad said, jack of all trades, master of none. My dad always said, whatever you do, be all there. Be all there, focus on that one thing, get it done. Does it mean we won't expand into small offshoots over time? No, but we need to really make sure that we master the scheduling piece first. Then if there's other things that are a little tangent, which we'll start dipping our toes in, that are still directly related to scheduling, there's a lot of cool things we can do with other products.
Yeah. So I know that there's a lot of really good automotive auto repair shop management systems out there. There's a lot of really good companies that handle that. And what they have is they have a calendar. Okay. And pretty much it. So now your really big claim to fame, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit about conversions, is Google. So explain to me Google, and if you want to, you can do screen share real quick. You can do screen share and show us something. Folks, you guys listening, you know how important Google is. All right. So this is the only company that's got Google integrated where they can schedule directly from your Google business profile. They can just click on it and schedule right from there. And the link can be put in all marketing. So we do lead follow-up automation software. So when a customer contacts you, if they don't book right away, we've got a process where they get touched 5 more times, and that increases sales by an average of 10 to 20%. So, and when we touch them, it's always going to have that link to that scheduler, so they can go ahead and schedule. If you want to show us the schedule real quick, because I was very impressed with how this works. It's very super niche market. If you just show us how that scheduler works and then show us that Google, that'll be phenomenal.
Sure. Yeah, let me share my screen
Sure.
here. Okay, perfect. Right, you guys will be able to see my screen there. What you're
Yep.
seeing here is that I did a search and I just searched auto shops in Dudley, Massachusetts, which is
Okay.
whether they're searching the specific name of a shop, but if they search something, if they're just looking for auto repair in general, usually what it's going to bring up is this map pack here.
Right.
Once again, you got to get some good reviews to make sure you're near the top of the map pack. But if you look here and see that there's one shop with this schedule button, this schedule button is because Pro Automotive is a customer of AutoOps, and their customers can schedule directly through Google Search and Google Maps. I think it's a huge competitive advantage to be one of the only ones in your shop's area with one of the easiest ways to schedule. 26% of all of our appointments come through these Google buttons, whether it's this one. You'll see here, if I actually search for the specific name of a shop, you're going to see this book online button here. This is huge for customers, as I'm sure Paul can attest to. The Google business profile is getting more and more important these days. Google, sadly, they want to get in front. They want to catch your customers' eyes. Sometimes even before you hit the website, obviously your website's key. Having a good website will help you get this Google business profile even shown, but they care a lot about getting people to interact with this Google business profile. A lot of customers, they'll see the pictures of your shop. I'm sure Paul can test this. Have some good pictures of your shop up there. Have it look like a warm, inviting, clean place where people want to do business at. They'll see the pictures, they'll see these Google reviews, and then they'll want to book online. And the thing with AutoOps is what we are is helping shops engage with customers in the way they want to engage. I know a lot of shops will say, oh, I really like talking to my customers over the phone. I'm sure you do like talking to your customers over the phone, and I know you can convert people that way. And obviously, having good phone skills is definitely important. But as much as you like talking to your customers, as time goes on over the last 10 years, less and less of your customers want to talk with you. So if you want to stay with the time, engage with customers how they want to engage. And a lot of them, they'll see these phone numbers. Every person that books online with AutoOps, and we've had hundreds of thousands of people now say, you know what, I see the phone number there, or I see the phone number on their website, but I want to book online through Google. So they can click this. This will take them directly into the scheduling. Once again, if you go to their website, you could press book service now. That takes them directly into the scheduling. So, and another big part, and this is why working with marketing companies is critical, is online scheduling isn't that cool if you don't have viewers going to you online. That's why you need to focus on things like SEO, your website, making sure your Google business profile is actually ranking. So this is why companies like Advanced Digital is super important.
Right. It is a symbiosis. So you're reiterating a lot of the information that I had on my workshop in February on how to get websites to convert. God gave me 2 ears and a mouth for communications, not fingers. But 20%. The industry statistic is around 20% of people that do not want to call you.
Yeah.
They just want to either send you a text or just book right online. So now shops that don't have online booking now, if they don't have that on their website, they'll increase their revenues by 10 to 20% just by putting it on there. And that's all industries. If you rent canoes out in Canada, I don't care. As soon as you put online booking on there, your revenues are going to go up 10 to 20% because people will just book straight online.
Yeah.
So the shops, if you don't have online scheduling at all, then it's imperative that you get it right away. Like you said, there's a lot of, well, I've been doing business this way for a really long time. Well, okay, well, if you are looking to increase your car count and fill your bays a little bit more, then you have to take advantage of all the current technology that's available. So a lot of shops I talk to, they say, oh, I don't want texting. I don't want people to be able to text me. Well, I'm sorry that you're losing around 20% of your potential customer base. So, and you're going to get those texts. Hey, can you fix my car? And I tell them, you're going to get those, but you know what it does? It opens the dialogue. Now you can call them and say, hey, you want to just book in? Here's a link. I'll text you a link to where you can book in, and they'll book in right then and there using the link. So could you run through the funnel really quick on the booking engine?
Sure.
So I want to book. Folks, guys, take a look at this, how this works. It really narrows them down. You get a whole lot of information just from them doing the booking. Can you go ahead and just show us that real quick?
Definitely, yeah. I'll show you this. What you're seeing here is our multi-location scheduler. So yeah, this is just pressing that book service now. If you do have multiple locations, we can select a location. Like Paul was talking about, providing this as a CTA, and I'll actually point something out real quick, is that make sure that your CTA is above the fold. Make sure it's prominent. You're going to see here they have a book service now button here, and a book service now button here. Having a CTA above the fold is huge. I'm going to actually go to one of our demo sites here. Having online scheduling is great, but what AutoOps does is make sure you're giving your customers a great way to engage, you're improving their experience, but we need to make sure that this is something that actually works for your shop. So you're going to see some of the ways in which we look at availability in your shop management system, which we help you upsell service. So on this first page here, you're able to customize which services you offer to customers, and you can give customers an easier way to describe what's going on. When I select brakes, we're going to say, hey, what issues is your brakes having? I feel pulsating, or I hear or feel grinding, or I smell something. So you could say, hey, I hear or feel grinding, and I think it's in the front of my vehicle. So you gave customers an easier way to describe what's going on. They can leave comments. They can add photo or video. A lot of people, instead of, I'm sure, Paul, you've heard people, if you've ever been to a shop, my car's going, and you're like, wouldn't it help if I just had a video? So everything's very mobile friendly. They could add a video of their sounds making. So now your technicians are actually getting better information about the services that is needed. When I enter the phone number, this is where we're going into your shop management system. And if you're not using a shop management system, you should start using a shop management system. If you're not, this still works too, where we're just collecting the information. But if you use a shop management system, the ones we're currently integrated with, Shopware, Protractor, TechMetric, ShopMonkey, Mitchell One, RO-Writer, NapaTrack, StockTrack. So there's a lot of ones we're integrated with. We can actually go in and look for that customer. And if we find that customer, hey, welcome back, Stephen, pulls up all their vehicles. It's quicker, it's more engaging for your customers, and we never create duplicates. Once we select a vehicle, we can then pull the declined work from your shop management system, automatically recommend it to the customer. Here's where we get into the intelligence around scheduling. You can select which of the services that the customer selected in the beginning are drop-off only and which ones are waiter eligible. When we're looking at the calendar, this is where we have a live two-way sync with the calendar in your shop management system that Paul was talking about earlier. That's where shops are putting in the majority of their appointments. We can look at that calendar and say, hey, when do they have availability? We can look at, hey, how many do they already have at this time slot? How many do they have per day? When's the soonest someone, a waiter or a drop-off, can schedule? So with AutoOps, we look at that calendar, determine when you actually have availability, and then you could say, hey, I only want 4 waiters per time slot. We'll calculate that all in live time. The one thing also I like to note here, because of the calendar, and Paul, I'm sure you can attest this, maybe you looked into this at your workshop, is people bail out of scheduling. That's just something that occurs in any industry, whether it's people scheduling at a restaurant, at a doctor's appointment. People are going to bail out, and AutoOps is the only company right now that, after the phone number, which was our second step, so about 3 steps ago, if they bail out after the phone number, we're sending the shop over all that information. Hey, someone was interested in scheduling your shop. They bailed out, but here's the services they wanted: their name, their email, their phone number, all their vehicle information. Maybe they got to the calendar page. Maybe they even gave you a time, but you get all that information so you can follow up and get them scheduled. You'll see some customizable notes down here. You'll see things with loaner cars. And then they can confirm their appointment. Once this is booked, it creates all the information in their shop management system. It then sends the shop an email. Congratulations, you just got a booking. And we can do confirmation reminders for the customers. Being a newer company, we're constantly innovating. Paul, I know we just met about a week and a half ago, or maybe a few weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago. In that time period, we added a new feature, which is customers can now add
cool. Awesome.
their appointment to their Google Calendar, to their Apple Calendar, Outlook. One thing with booking appointments is you need to make sure they show up. We have a great show rate, and I think that's because it feels more like a live scheduling experience, this entire point, from the look and the feel to the bringing up the customer information. But now they can add to their calendar so they make sure they don't forget, which is cool. Constantly adding new fun features like that with AutoOps. We do have a dashboard where you make all these customizations. You can track everything. One thing I'll show here, Paul, because it ties into a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing. Attribution is important. And I'm sure you can attest this, Paul, is that people are interacting with my shop, but we need to make sure we can understand, okay, where are these people coming from? So you'll see a lot of the stuff we do is, are they coming from a website that Paul and his team built you? Is it coming from the Google business profile? Is it coming from a Google ad? Is it coming from a Facebook ad that your team is running? Being able to understand, okay, I'm spending my money on marketing. How is it actually panning out for my shop? How many dollars am I getting back is huge. These marketing links is another quick way. You could work with Paul to, on a Google ad or on a Facebook ad or on a text, include a link. Always, and I like to tell shops this, whether it's a mailer, whether it's a text, whether it's an email, whether it's your website, whether it's your Google Biz profile, any way that you communicate with customers should have the option for them to schedule online. People are busy during their day. Sometimes in the middle of the day, they don't have 10 minutes to hop on the phone, but maybe while they're in the bathroom at work, they could schedule an appointment on their phone real quick. So giving customers a way to schedule online is key. So let's say you put this link in a follow-up text. How many clicks, leads, and bookings did I get specifically for that link, whether it's a link or a QR code? I think this stuff is critical. So Paul was preaching the good word, talking about online scheduling as a conversion point. I think you can include it. You should include it in every way you engage with customers.
Yeah, and what I want to get across to the listeners is if they invest in AutoOps, this is not an additional expense. I can guarantee any shop owner right now that if they were to put AutoOps on their website and on their digital presence, it's going to pay for itself. It probably its first month, if not even sooner, right? Because we only need to get a booking or two from this to what is the investment on the?
Yeah, so AutoOps is $159 a month. There's no contract or setup fee. If you are a customer of Advanced Digital, you would get the first month for $1. Not free. I gotta get the dollar from you. So if you're a customer of Paul's, let me know. It'd be $1 for the first month, which would be great. But yeah, at $159, we're talking one new customer from Google from
Right.
converting better on your website. We're talking one piece of declined work that gets upsold. We're talking about saving your team 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day. We've had really good retention rate because once people get it on their website, they can't imagine taking it off. But once again, you need a marketing company for it to be fun. We've had shops come on and they have zero online presence. Well, it's a little hard. We might be able to get you a few bookings on Google, but you got to be working with a marketing company that's actually, helping you have a good online presence.
Right, because they got to get traffic organically. They got to get traffic through paid ads for
Totally.
it to really work. So if you're on page 2 of Google, you need to work with us first, and then
Yep.
so we can get you up higher. Or if you're at the bottom of page 1, you have to be at the top of page 1. If you're not in the local map pack, it's imperative that you get there. Conversion rates, like I said, 20 to 50%. We have a lot of clients that come to us and they say, we need more leads, we need more leads, we need more leads. And I'm like, no, you don't. You need a really, really good foundation for your digital presence, which is the website. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then you need to convert more of the leads you're already getting, because I already know without looking, you're losing 20% or more of your traffic. They're not converting. That's the industry statistic. So after I just did my workshop on all the ways that we know they're tried, true, and tested to get a website to convert, I met you and I'm like, oh, this is a no-brainer because it's another way to get them to convert faster. And we have to think about today's market. And today's market are texters. Today's market are schedule onliners. Of course, you do want to talk to people, but I feel more comfortable talking to a potential customer, but it's really important that we get those online bookings. And this software is phenomenal. Ask him what the problem is and helps. And let me go over abandoned forms. So if any guys are listening, if someone starts to fill out one of these forms and a dog barks or the UPS guy comes to the door and they put the phone down and they forget or whatever, you can call them back within a few minutes and if you can close that. Because you're getting that information. So there's a lot of people that'll start and then, I'll get to this later. And their phone rings, so they get a text, whatever. So abandoned form was included in my workshop, and it's important to have that. So we have abandoned form on their website. So if they fill out a contact us form or whatever, the shop gets immediately notified because they got to get with that customer within 5 minutes or they go bye-bye. They're already else. So they'll get a message. And so it's the same thing with AutoOps. If they fill out a form there, you guys are at least going to get that information they fill out up until they abandon the form. And that's imperative. And you take that over a year's time, how many more book jobs you guys will get from that? Because your competitors are not doing it. So that's what it really adds up to.
Yeah. It's really just dumping gasoline on what Paul and his team are doing. Start with marketing, start with getting a good website that helps you rank high on Google. And then if you're getting some traffic, start converting them at a higher percentage with AutoOps. So
yeah, I can't expound more that you guys are the only scheduler that actually, I don't know how you did. That was the first thing I asked you when you showed me that vision. I'm like, how did you get Google to approve this? So you guys are the only one, right? You are the only online.
So I would like to clarify one thing. We're currently, after we launched it, there was 1 or 2 other companies that saw this and were like, this is super valuable. So there's 1 or 2 other companies. I know one of them is Steer. Steer is a really solid CRM in this space. They recently released it. Steer has, as much as they're a fantastic CRM platform, their scheduling is pretty basic. So we actually work, a lot of their customers use the Steer CRM, but then also use AutoOps. So, but yeah, the key thing is that we're the only company that just focuses on scheduling. So there's a lot of things we do in the actual scheduling tool that you'll see that no one else does. So we're the only company that's focused on scheduling that will also be able to help you and get that button on Google. Some of the stuff we're looking into, and this is once again combined well with a marketing company, is Paul, let's see if you can answer the $1 million question. This is, what's still the number one way that people schedule an appointment at a shop?
Oh, online.
Other than online. It's because it's actually not online. It's still not the majority.
Oh, referral.
Would be, well, yeah, referral that ends up in someone calling the shop. I mean, still people calling the shop is one of the number ways that people are scheduling.
Yeah.
Hey, obviously you want people scheduling online. I'd see some of our most successful shops get to about 50% of all of their appointments scheduled online, which is great. I mean, most shops, the average shop that you're going to run into off the street is around 25%. Is about 20 to 25% of their customers scheduled online. You can get it up to that 50 mark is great, but a lot of them are still, I'd say, a good shop, if you can get 40% scheduling online, 50% calling over the phone, and then usually 10% people walk in because they see your shop or they hear it from a friend. They don't end up calling, they just show on up. We're looking into, how can we increase the conversion rate on people calling in the shop? One thing, for example, that we're looking into is basically, for people calling after hours, is there a way that we can text them a link to schedule? So to making sure that we're converting from all points is kind of what we're looking into as a company.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's what I want to also is when the less people that are calling, the less time that your staff is on the phone and they're able to do other things.
100%.
I think the more that people are booking online, and I think that's a good goal to get people at 50%, because the number one way that people book is they call, hey, I want to bring my car in. When's the best time? But if you can get half of those people, imagine having your CSR at the front desk, 50% of their time is now freed up to do other tasks.
Yeah. And sometimes people will talk to me, they'll be like, okay, Steven, I have a website, I'm close, but I'm just like I'm a one-man show. I say a one-man show is the first person that should be getting on AutoOps. It usually takes most people, when the average time people call in, 8 minutes, being, hey, okay, your oil change is on Thursday. Does 2 p.m. work for you? No, you're busy. Oh, does 4 p.m. work for you? Does it? 8 minutes. Okay, great. Gives you collect all the information. Hey, what's your number? What's your address? What's your blah, blah, blah. And then shops usually spend 4 or 5 minutes typing all that information into their shop management system, where we're completely cutting that out. So you go from 10 total minutes to 0, which can be huge for shops. And it can be leaving your service advisors to do, maybe a lot of people have their service writers doubling as people who are answering the phones, where get them just all writing service, get your service advisor actually focusing on, because a big thing also, whether you're a marketing company, whether you're an online scheduling company, we can only get the customer in your door. What we can't do is make sure that you're greeting them with a smile. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for coming into my shop today. Giving them a great experience once they're in there in person. I mean, people can talk about retention. Retention from this software, retention from that software. Does AutoOps help with retention? Sure, we help with retention. But I can tell you, what helps with retention more than anything else is a friendly staff member when you walk in the door.
Sure.
So marketing companies, scheduling companies, we can help get customers in the door. Make sure your team is also, giving them a warm service. And when a service advisor isn't getting the phone ringing constantly, then they have more time to actually engage with your customers when they're in the shop.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yep. So a lot of these people that are kind of resistant to the online scheduling, that the whole point is to free up time so your staff can do other things. And it works. It works really well. Anyway, what do you see as some of the biggest things that are changing in the industry that the auto repair shop owner really needs to pay attention to?
Yeah, the industry's changing in a bunch of different ways. Honestly, what kicked it off was texting. Is that more people are just using their phone. I mean, 76% of all of our appointments come in over a phone. So scheduling is definitely changing. Yeah, like you said before, there's more people don't want to call in. But the other thing is that customers are getting used to using their phones in different aspects of shops. So one example, probably the biggest revolution over the last 3 years before online scheduling, I may be a little biased on that, was DVIs for shops, digital vehicle inspections, where
Right.
people are going into a shop, they're leaving their car, but then they're getting a text where they can see pictures, videos of the service or of the work that may need done on their car. Then they can approve it from their phones. So shops are already having success getting customers engaging digitally with them through text messages. That's been one of the things that are pushing more people just to get used to, okay, when I drop off my shop, usually they're going to text, they might do this, I might engage online. So engaging online with a shop, even with things outside of scheduling like DVIs, is becoming much more prominent. The other thing that people need to pay attention to with scheduling is the big box store down the road, the Firestone down the road. They've had good online scheduling for years. Now they spent $2 million in house to build it. So if you don't have $2 million to go build your own ones, luckily AutoOps has already spent a lot of that money. So instead of $2 million, $159 a month. So yeah, I mean, the big change is that the box store down the road is make it easier. Is that customers, in the same way people talk about in attention spans going down with TikTok, where people have TikTok brain, they can only pay attention for something for 7 seconds. The ability for them to sit on the phone during the middle of the day, I mean, that intention, that time span has shrunk too, where, I mean, you could fly through AutoOps in 30 seconds. And so, yeah, I think getting used to customers not having the time or not expecting, I mean, really expectation shifting is what we're trying to keep up with. Is the expectation is I should be able to engage with my shop in 2 minutes and be able to go in the next day. Quicker, sooner, faster is what the whole technology boom has been all about. Online scheduling for food order that will be with you in 2 minutes. That's because people want things quicker, smoother, faster. So
Awesome.
I'll get some Uber Eats in a few minutes here.
Okay, yep. The landscape is changing. DVI's totally changed auto repair for the better.
Yep.
And anything that the shop owner can take advantage of digital to help them increase their sales is a no-brainer. So DVI's, AutoOps, your scheduler is fantastic. We will recommend it. We can lead the horse to water, but we will recommend it to every single one of our clients that come on board. So you need to have this scheduler, because I'm going to just focus on the Google. There are a lot of reasons
the Google
to
stuff
have
is
it,
huge.
but the Google, it's huge. Yeah, it's really, really big. So I'm sure
And once again, if you need a CRM, go check out Steer. But if you are happy with the way you're communicating with customers and you just want the scheduling piece, that's where I was complaining. But regardless of that, I mean, that Google button, if I was a marketing company, I wouldn't even work with a shop that didn't want a Google button. It's like, I can only do so much for you. Like you said, I can lead the horse to water, but if you don't want to drink, then can't help you with that. So.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, Steven, we really appreciate your time. It's AutoOps.com.
Yep. AutoOps.com, AutoOps.com. Feel free, if anyone wants to shoot me an email, Steven, STEVEN @AutoOps.com. Or you could talk with, I'll make a page for Advanced Digital. Off the top of my head, we'll just call it AutoOps.com/Advanced Digital. I'll have that live within 30 minutes here. You could go to that, and Paul, I'll send you that link where you can send to customers and get them.
We'll put the AutoOps link on our website. It's not there yet, so we'll put that under our partners on there, so people can click on it and book a demo, so you can talk to the individual shop and show them anything else, answer any of the questions that they may have. But hey, shop owners listening, it's a no-brainer. It's $160 a month. And with the amount of people that are using phones and scheduling, it's a no-brainer, pay for itself. You will get more book jobs by having this on a website that's already getting good traffic. So that comes first. So if you don't have your digital foundation right, then take care of that first, and then we'll set you up with AutoOps. But if you're already getting good traffic to your website now, I don't care what company you're with. If you're already getting good organic traffic, you're ranking in the top 3 for auto repair in your city, then call AutoOps and get set up with them, and it's going to increase your revenues immediately. So, Steven, I'll look forward to seeing you at another event. Are you going to the ASTA?
ASTA, is that down in North Carolina?
Yeah, it's the North Carolina one. Yeah.
Yep, I'll be there.
Oh, you will? Okay,
Great.
I'll see you there.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.